All right, guys, let's do this.
I'm here to bring the heat in the crypto space. Show you how to find those gems, set the pace. Deep tech dives or meme coin craze. Kyle's here to elevate your portfolio's grace. From blockchain to altcoin, I'm your guide. With knowledge and tactics, I won't hide. Dropping alpha that you need inside. Turn up the beat, let's enjoy the ride. Kyle, alpha leader of the digital wild. Turning crypto secrets into piles.
All right, guys. We are going to tell you today about something that you really need to know about. Sorry, I'm late. This is something that the Fed does not want you to know, and it's when you dig into it, it's actually scarier than you might think, and it really helps shift the perspective of what you need to know to make the best informed decisions for yourself and your portfolio and your family and planning and everything like that moving forward. It's a really big deal. So what I'm going to do real quick is just kind of set you up for the show right now and let you watch a real quick just clip, and then we'll dive into it, guys. So if you're excited for the show, what's up, everyone in the comments? Sorry, I am a little bit late today, but it was a big deal. And so, yes, the peppening is happening. What's up, everybody? Where are you guys calling in from? Where are you tuning in? We will do a Q&A today. So if you have questions from last time and I wasn't able to answer them, I'm sorry, but we will get into it today. The peppening is happening 100% for sure. I think there's probably few better deals in the space than that. So everybody, welcome, welcome, welcome. Ryan, Paul Gracie, Jojo, what's happening? Moby, TB050, Jay Holland in the house. What's up, guys? Let me know. We got Ramazan from Turkey. What's up? What's up? I just went to a Turkish restaurant the other night. Delicious. It's about time. Yeah, I know it's about time. Please respect your subscribers' time. I am sorry. I'm very sorry. But yeah, I'm not gonna make excuses. And if the camera does this thing, like, I'm sorry, but it's just Apple doing it's keeping me in the center of the screen kind of thing, I guess. So anyway, with that being said, let's dive into it, guys. So first of all, this is really this sets the tone here.
This is how the whole thing is rigged. They're taxing us through inflation. Then they're lying to us about how bad it is. And the ultimate irony is all the years that the Fed was printing all this money, creating all this inflation, they were pointing to a rigged CPI that was less than 2%. And they said, we need it higher. We don't have enough inflation. And that was the justification for continuously creating more inflation, because they theoretically said we need to get up to 2%, when in reality, we were already way above 2%. But there's nothing magical about 2%. 1% is better than 2%. If you have 1%, you don't try to get up to 2%. You try to go down to 0 or -1. Lower prices are better than rising prices. Only an idiot economist or a central banker, or maybe some of these Wall Street people, could believe that rising prices are good, or that prices that go up by 2% every year constitute price stability. That's not stability. That's a continuous increase in price. Stable means the prices don't change.
Why is it a fallacy?
So, guys, this is where we are headed right now, is to a world where we have been lied to as a people, not just in the United States, but everywhere else. And believing that that the numbers that are being reported to us are actually true. And while people are throwing around this number that we have been losing purchasing power of the dollar by 25% over the past 4 years, there's a good chance that that number is 30 to 50% higher, actually. And so we're going to get into exactly what has happened recently and the history of the BLS, which is a government organization which manipulates the calculations of the way that we look at inflation or the debasement of the US dollar, depending on what their goals and objectives are. And of course, on the surface, they tell you they make these adjustments to make them more realistic for modern times and adapting to the way that consumers buy things. However, we are smarter than that, right? We know better than to take that at face value. And so today we're going to go into a bit of history about the BLS, the way they work with the Fed, and what's actually going on with inflation, and also how I expect this recent shift that we're going to talk about today, this recent announcement or manipulation that has been made, how that could be setting us up for the big week of events that are happening this week. This week is a very important week. We have the PPI, the CPI, we've got the jobs reports, we've got all kinds of economic and financial reports coming out that will give us a state of the economy. And I believe, it's low volume for you guys. Anyone else here have low volume? Scar King says low volume, guys. I am. Everything here looks like very, 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 very. Rizzy saying volume's low. How about like that? Is that better for you guys? No good on my end. That's not good. But that I just cranked it up. Okay. All right, guys. That's all right. Thanks, guys. Thank you. So it's hurting my ears. Actually, it's so loud. So let me just crank it down a little bit. All right. So it's very loud. So wow, it's loud. All right. Okay. So guys, let's just, we have this nice bounce coming right now. And again, the longer that we are in this accumulation zone, the more likely we are, which in my opinion is going to be more healthy for the markets, right? If we would have been going up only, we would have been in a place where we could have gotten, very accelerated markets. However, in my opinion, Nick, is it loud? Is it too loud? It's my ears, it's loud as F2. Thanks, guys. I appreciate you all tuning in. Let me know if you guys are enjoying the live streams. I enjoy it, and I can't really tell because overall views are down. They seem to be down across all YouTube and retail interest in general. But if you guys do like the loud, yes, I know. If you guys do like the live streams, let us know, and then also let me know what else you guys want to see. We do look at the comments. And I want to tailor this around whatever is the most beneficial for you guys. As you may or may not know, I've been in the space for 12 years, and I've got a wide variety of knowledge on a lot of things, and happy to share that with you guys. So as Rec Capital is saying, we're basically right on track, and where we should be. If we get the weekly close above 60,600, it will continue to solidify this reaccumulation phase, and we probably aren't going lower. I think that you guys will know that with all of the kind of positive news that's been coming out, that we're probably not going to see too much breaking below this resistance line that we've so geniusly crafted over here as support. Yeah, always slows down in the summer, as Paul's saying, and it is true. It does slow down in the summer, and this is, in my opinion, a healthy thing. It allows us to, the most important thing I think that we can be doing right now is positioning ourselves, because inevitably, as it shows, we after this reaccumulation or this accumulation phase right here in this red, is when we go into the parabolic state, and this is when you want to make sure that you got your bags packed in the right projects. I'm not a TA guy, but this Wyckoff is something that a lot of TA people use. And we can see that this chart is looking extremely familiar, right? We had this kind of lower lows and lower highs, and this bottom over here. And now we see the first kind of printed on the daily candles, this kind of first higher low. So to me, it does seem like we probably will continue to chop this way, and then probably, boost up, I would say, and we'll get into that in a second, but kind of slowly make our way back up to old all-time highs. And then once we break that with confirmation, it's on like Donkey Kong, baby. It's going to be a lot of fun after that. Now, we've said many times on this channel, yes, time to accumulate more. I wish, and this is why I sometimes make the airdrop videos for you guys, or tell you how to go, make free money, because I think the most important thing that you could be doing right now is figuring out how to get more capital, how to allocate more. And this is not financial advice, but if I wasn't doing what I'm doing, building the projects that I'm building, focusing on what I'm doing, then I would be out there doing everything I possibly can to earn more capital to put it into the markets. And I am doing that too. I am looking at selling my villa in Thailand. We do have full-time staff that are dedicated toward airdrops, and we are also, from a company perspective, trying to figure out how we can get more money into the markets, how we can get more exposure to the upside that's about to come. And if it wasn't clear enough, guys, the one who is always the most critical about Bitcoin, Jamie Dimon himself, we now know that JP Morgan, all the whole while he's been in court, he's been in newspapers, he's been all over the place, saying he's going to fire any employee who's promoting or trading Bitcoin. we know that JP Morgan now, because of these 13F filings, have been buying the Bitcoin spot ETF. So watch what they do. Just don't even pay attention to what they say at all. It's inevitably, not only do we have JP Morgan, largest bank in America, you got Morgan Stanley, BP Paribas, BNY Mellon, the oldest bank in America, obviously BlackRock, Citibank, Barclays, Standard Chartered, Charles Schwab, Goldman Sachs, all of them in Bitcoin right now. So if you wonder where we are in the market, and if anybody thinks that like this, we've peaked or topped out, if you guys haven't seen my video on Friday, I highly suggest you go watch it to get a better understanding of how to time the top and how to time the bottom. I thought that was pretty impressive as well. Not only do we have all these banks, but we have the Rothschilds as well. So if you guys aren't familiar with the Rothschilds, one of the biggest conspiracy banking cartel families in the world. You know, no one knows what their true net worth is, but it's estimated to be in the trillions. You know, $20 mil for them is nothing, right? The 20 mil is nothing. Just like PNB Paribas, and the second largest bank in Europe, just like their $40,000 Bitcoin buy was nothing. I think what's more meaningful is everyone knows that this is going to be headline news, right? And so for Rothschild's family office to essentially come in and take a position publicly, again, this is literally means nothing to them. I think more, it's a signal. It's a signal that they want people to understand that this is happening. And like I've been telling you guys who have been here with me for a long time, you know, in my opinion, we are 100% looking at adoption moving forward for Bitcoin around the globe. And not just that, like the tokenization of everything, as Larry Fink says. And there's literally like there's so few people on this planet. I saw a pie chart. I don't have it pulled up, but I think there was of the entire planet, something like 0.5% of people have exposure to Bitcoin. And so if you wonder if we're still early or if you're late or whatever, we are extremely early. And you know, even Elon came out and said something, and it's funny with Monopoly. I don't know who of you guys played Monopoly when you were younger, but I played it. Thank you. Yeah, I was also blown away by the Pi Cycle top chart. Really, really good video on Friday if you guys haven't seen that. But Monopoly, the rules say, what if the bank runs out of money? Some players think the bank is bankrupt if it runs out of money. The bank never goes bankrupt. To continue playing, use slips of paper to keep track of each player's banking transactions until the bank has enough paper money to operate again. The banker may also issue new money on slips of ordinary paper. Sounds like what we do today. And just for fun, guys, does anybody who has played Monopoly when you were younger, that's like over the age of, I don't know, maybe 20 or something like that, 25? Do you guys remember the Monopoly man with the monocle here? Where is the monocle, right? And I mean, if you guys know the Mandela effect, yeah? Like, do you remember Fruit of the Loom with like this like cornucopias thing where the Fruit of the Loom logo was like the cornucopias thing with all the fruit in the middle of it? And no, there was no cornucopias thing. It was just the fruit on the Fruit of the Loom logo. Do you remember? Do you remember the Darth Vader line? Luke, I am your. No, sorry.
Luke, I am your father.
But actually says, no, I am your father. What? Like, what is it? Cinderella? Mirror, mirror on the wall, who's the fairest of them all? No. So anyway, this is the Mandela effect. If you guys haven't checked it out, go trip out on that for a while. It is insane. Again, I believe this chart was done. I don't remember. I think it was done through, I don't know if it was Plan B or what, but essentially this is played out pretty accurate, and it's just so simple, right? Like, if it's down here in the purple, blue, like it's definitely a good time to accumulate. And as you can see, if you believe in the law of diminishing returns, then obviously, like as it gets closer to the red, like you want to sell. Last cycle, last cycle we made up here to the orange. This one, if the law of diminishing returns plays out, then maybe we see it come to the yellow area here. But in my opinion, I think that we're going to have some sort of super cycle, and maybe we see it come, smash up here to this maximum bubble territory. And if we and let's just take a look together. Like, the end of 2025 would be, maybe around here. So according to this, if we did smash this kind of, we'd be up near $1 million if a super cycle ensues here. So, same scientist that involved with Bitcoin. I'm not sure. Are we talking about Paul? I don't know. Maybe in the Q&A you could fill me in later. I'm not up to speed here with going on the chat. So what all these kind of bullish things are, right? We got Trump endorsing crypto, like a big time endorsing crypto. European regulator considering to approve Bitcoin as an asset. We talked about this for the mutual funds. That was a $13 trillion market looking to allocate to Bitcoin. BlackRock shilling their Bitcoin ETF to pension funds. Morgan Stanley is about to get Bitcoin exposure for its funds. Europe's second largest bank, PNB Paribas, bought Bitcoin. Argentina is about to start mining Bitcoin as a country. South Korea and Australia, Bitcoin ETFs coming up. And the M2 money supply, remember guys, ticking positive. All extremely bullish where we are. Now, what do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below if you think that this Q2 is going to finish in a red, because there's often this sell May and go away. But if you can see, 2016 halving year, presidential election year, 62%. 2020 halving year, presidential election year, 42%. And right now we've got this, we're at this anomaly where we're negative 14% in halving in a presidential election year. We have another month and a half left in this quarter. So to me, it feels like we could have an extreme, and we've talked about this before, like maybe in 1 week from now, the kind of third week, late May, early June, starting to see things really start to accelerate. So that's what I'm kind of hoping for. We'll see. Regardless, I'm quite well positioned. Later in the week, we're going to go into a couple altcoin videos talking about AI, and we're going to dive deeper into particular ecosystem, though, where maybe we reallocate a couple things in that direction. I'm still doing some deep dive and due diligence on some of these projects, and I want to do that before I share them with you. This is the annual Bitcoin annual chart, and you can see these big spikes, these number ones. These are the halving years. These are the presidential election years, and followed with the bear markets before, the lead up, which would have been 2023, and then the parabola 2024, which would be over here, right? So you've got green, red, green, 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 red, green, 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 red, green, green, green next year, 2025, and then red, correction coming. So, history doesn't repeat, but it rhymes, as you guys know. And I, for a long time, I just ignored charts and things like that. But there's all kinds of things that are just kind of guiding us down some like of where to look, right, and what to expect. And there can be anomalies, there can be outliers, there can be a super cycle. But I think large in part, we need to take all of the tools available to us, all the data available to us, and make decisions. Yeah, left translated is easily still in play. I agree, it is in a way, and it still could be, right? But the longer that we sit in this sideways, like the longer we sit here under all-time highs, the less severe a left translated cycle might be. I don't even know if I am a subscriber to that idea anyway. I mean, we literally kissed all-time highs for a second, right? And in the past, typically when we go past all-time highs, it's just breaks through all-time highs and just upward. So it's a lot different than the old cycles where we didn't just kiss it, we like smashed through all-time highs and went much further higher after that. And that was way after the halving as well. But again, we're in an election year right now. Again, we need, money. The money supply is starting to increase all over the world. You can see that China, obviously for a while now, ever since last year, has been printing a bunch of their economy is going to crap. But everything else is ticked positive as well, except for Canada. Eh? Like, I don't know what Canada's doing over here. Just I don't know, just Justin Trudeauing, I guess. But like, this shall probably tick positive, but the most important thing is Canada is probably irrelevant when it comes down to moving markets, unlike Japan, China, US, euro. But most significantly here is that China has been coming through the roof, and we know that it is. We don't know, but the speculation that this China ETF will be approved, or at least they're going to get exposure, and mainland Chinese residents are going to be able to get exposure through the Bitcoin ETFs and ETH ETFs as well. But this is the most significant, right? And everything that we've been talking about over the last month or 2 months or 3 months points to the fact that there's very likely going to be, massive money printing and quantitative easing dressed up in some other verbiage moving forward. And that's kind of where we're getting into right now, is the whole big topic of this video is, are we setting up right now to see a rate cut, more money printing, quantitative easing, and to me, something we're going to get into in a second kind of alludes to that fact, right? And you can see here, it's just a very simple correlation of the more that the M2 money supply increases, the money supply, the purchasing power of the dollar goes down. Why? Well, the less rare something is, the less value it has. And that's pretty simple. So Raoul Pal makes an interesting kind of statement here. And I don't know that it's so relevant, but basically what he's trying to say here is that we have an aging population, which means that there's more old people to take care of, more social security, less GDP, less work being done. Birth rates in the States have declined, and so you're gonna have less innovation, less likely. I mean, that's if you just assumed that, the problem I have with this thing from Raoul Pal is basically, first one, let me read it to you. He says, I posted these the other day, and I'm still not sure people yet understand them. I mean, the overall concept is true, but I'm going to make a point that I might disagree a little bit with the logic here. And so he says, and they are most important charts in all of macro crypto. So we have aging population, which is lower GDP growth. Lower GDP equals higher debt to service the aging population. I talked about that. With high debt and low growth, the Fed needs to create liquidity to service the debt, aka money printing and debasing the dollar. Demographics are destiny until the robots and AI scale in 2030 plus, thus debt up, liquidity up, number go up. It's really that simple. With a longer term time horizon, this is the everything code at a very high level. And I think that I don't know if this is this is probably not a super chat. I don't know, but very, very, very. I mean, it's hilarious. Like when you look at something like, I'll show you guys a cool tool. Actually, just ask that question or ask me to show you the holder. Like there's some the thing that I've been wanting for a long time. This tool that shows you the holder growth in different tokens. I discovered one recently, so I'll try to pull that up toward the Q&A at the end, guys. But essentially, so Raoul Pal is just saying that you've got an older population, there's going to be more money paid out, more debt, less revenue coming in, certainly less revenue coming in compared to the growing debt and interest that's due on the debt from the United States government. And again, like I've said before, the only way that the government gets itself out of all this debt is it's one of two ways. One, you essentially default on your debt and let the entire world lose faith in treasury bonds, and the U.S. government's monetary system in that sends the USA into immediate third world territory very quickly. Or you print money and you kick the can down the road a little bit longer, eventually until you realize that you can't kick the can down the road any longer. And like I said the other day, it doesn't really matter who's in office next term, whether it's Trump or Biden, you can't rely on the dollar to continue to have strength. And because we're going to see in this year, as they so casually told us that quantitative easing is going to kick in, and when they inevitably start lowering interest rates and boosting the economy, you're going to have essentially worse inflation, worse debasement than we've seen in the last 4 years. So maybe in the last 4 years, if it was a conservative 25% debasement of the US dollar, the next 4 years, depending on who makes the monetary policy, depending on what happens, but likely, inevitably, unless they want the economy to really stagflate and not grow at all, and appear, again, this is the problem with politics, is it's so optically driven on smoke and mirrors. And then when you come into office, you're let with all the bad debt from the people before. So it's unfortunate, but and this is the kind of the thing that we struggle with here in a long time to understand, where do we store our value, right? And for me, that's for me, like I said, if you're new to the channel, like a lot of my wealth is stored in Bitcoin in cold storage that I just never touch. I never sell, because I know that will have future value that will protect myself and future generations of my family. But I want to build, and I want to make a lot of money, and I want to do stuff with this money that's productive. And so that is what I do. And that's what I share with you on this channel, is what am I doing with the money that I have, that I'm trying to multiply significantly, right? And so this is why I make a lot of this content that talks about the dollar and inflation and debasing of the dollar, and what do you do? Where do you put where do you take profits into? And so and this is why you should be subscribed, because we have an entire research team. We're growing the research team. We're going to get more macro analysts. We run a fund. We're starting a hedge fund. We're and all of this stuff requires a lot of smart people to be on the team. A lot of people that are smarter than me in different things are helping me to deliver this information to you. It's not just something that I know all the time. It's a lot. So, yo, Ronnie, what's up, man? From Madrid. Nice to see you here, brother. Yeah. Speaking of multiplying money, right? So I'll get back to you on that, Ronnie. So U.S. economic data this week. These are the events happening this week. This is a big deal. So you've got PPI tomorrow, CPI on Wednesday. This is the one that everyone pays attention to, is CPI. So I'm sure banter and stuff. Maybe we'll live stream for it. I don't know what time it'll be at, but who cares? I don't know. It's not. I don't even know. I'm actually not the best at translating what Jerome says. New York Fed manufacturing index on Wednesday. Jobless claims on Thursday. Philly Fed manufacturing index on Thursday. Building permits on Thursday, housing starts on Thursday, stats on Thursday, industrial production Thursday. So it's a big week for the economy. And of course, the election tensions have never been higher, and they will continue to grow in heat as it gets closer to November and the election season here. And so this is just going to be, the Dems have to play their cards extremely well. They have to make the appearance of a strong economy. And that's what they plan on doing, right? We've talked about the unwinding of the yen carry trade in Japan, and then we talked about immediately after that the Fed making an announcement saying they're going to step in and start buying bonds, and they're protecting the economy from, the largest holder of foreign debt, which is Japan, potentially unwinding all that debt as their currency is basically in price discovery, free float inflation. So what we're talking about today, the big story is, Kyle, did he have one-eyed glasses? Yeah, this is the Monopoly man. He had a monocle is what it's called. And at least that's my opinion. Teamwork like on Sunday. Yeah. Thanks, Anthony. That was a mind-blowing day for me. I don't even know. I don't even know what to say about that. Yeah, that was a big day. So the Kobolesi's letters, basically what happened, guys, is the US BLS, which is this organization which essentially gets to decide single-handedly how we measure inflation, right? And historically, they've changed it in a lot of different ways. And I'll show you the rest of that video I started with in a minute. But the main thing that happened recently is this. They removed, just took it off coffee, right? Why? As because the way that they look at inflation is the BLS takes a basket of consumer goods. Maybe it's like laundry soap, maybe it's like steak, maybe it's Kellogg's cereal, bananas, Fuji apples, whatever, right? Toilet paper, and it just says how much are the prices increasing. Kyle, are you looking for a customer service agent by any chance? No, and I would suggest to you that you instead of being a customer service agent yourself, you learn how to build these agents as AI. And like, because I'll tell you, just being blunt, like people are not going to need customer service agents anymore with how good these chatbots and AI bots become. Yes, because coffee increased by 78%. Exactly. So when you have a commodity like coffee that increases 78% in the past year, and that is one of the things that they're measuring inflation on, you do not want that thing as a calculation when it comes down to how inflation is doing. And, I think it was, was it my girlfriend's mother was in town recently? I believe it was her or somebody from the States was telling me how much. Guys, let me know in the comments below if you're in America and how much like a Big Mac or like a quarter Whopper, like how much is like a hamburger from like one of these like big things? Because, when I was in high school, I'm pretty sure that like, back when I was a kid, like I'm pretty sure that you could get, like, there was plenty of options, for like 99 cents for something at like Wendy's or whatever. But like a Big Mac, I think was like, I haven't eaten at McDonald's in forever. So I don't know how much a burger there would cost, but I know that like, I was told recently, is this true, that it's like up to like $18 or something for a burger from McDonald's? Like, I don't know. That sounds insane. But I'm pretty sure that prices of goods, from what I've heard, have increased way more than what the Fed is claiming to be of, 7-8%. Okay, 10%, $10 for a Happy Meal. That's not bad. But that's like a Happy Meal with like $12 McDonald's, $9.99 Chili's Big Mouth Burger. It's crazy. So that's like, okay, so that's one burger for $10. I don't know, like just like a burger, like 3 kids meals at McDonald's for $20, €10 for a menu. Okay. Facts. Carl Jr. took my friend's order yesterday very well. Spent $40 for 18 chicken stars and 2 burgers and chicken fry. Yeah, I mean, it's so. Eggs went from $3 to $11. That's a almost 400% increase in price. Like, unbelievable, right? So we know that these numbers that are being reported just aren't realistic, right? And what they do. Let me show you this clip real quick, and so you can kind of get a big picture of how things are being massaged or manipulated.
Pressure on prices. But I tried to make the point earlier is that we would have even seen more movement in the CPI earlier if it wasn't rigged. The CPI we had in the 70s is not the same CPI we have now, because in the 1990s, they changed it all. They changed the methodology for computing price increases. Their goal was to have a lower CPI because they claimed that the CPI was overstating inflation, and so they decided to fix it. If you measured the prices that we saw, the increases, if you used the 1970s CPI and then took the prices that we were living through, they were double digit. I mean, we were probably, the year that we had 9%, it was probably 18%. That was worse than any year of the 1970s or early 1980s. That's how bad it was. Shadowstats, they've been doing that for a long time. When they changed that, back in the 70s, it was the same basket, and they just said, what did it cost last year, and what does all that exact same stuff cost this year? But now they don't do that. They change the basket, they take stuff out that's gone up, they put stuff in that didn't go up as much, they adjust it for so-called quality improvements. Oh, that's a much higher quality than the one you bought last year, so let's make the price go down. But it's subjective. Is it really better? And a lot of times the quality goes down. I don't think they ever subtract for falling quality. It's like a one-way street. They just assume everything is getting better, when in many cases, people are substituting lower quality ingredients or stuff that used to be included. A classic would be airline. People would buy an airline ticket, they got their seat, they could get food, they could get a pillow, they could get a blanket, they could carry on stuff. Now all of a sudden, all that's extra. It's not part of the airfare anymore. You want to pick your own seat? That's extra. You want to check luggage? That's extra. You want a blanket? That costs more, right? All this stuff now are add-ons. That's not part of the CPI. If you look at some of the other measures, like where the government uses personal consumption expenditures, there you have lots of hedonics where they just basically say, oh, if steak gets too expensive, we'll just kick out steak and we'll put hamburger in there because we'll just assume people stop eating steak and they settle for hamburger. We can pretend that the price didn't go up. But the quality is going down. I want to eat steak. I can't afford it. And so I'm stuck with hamburger. And according to the government, that means there's no inflation. I mean, by that logic, if I have to give up hamburger and start eating dog food because I can't afford hamburger anymore, as far as the government's concerned, there's no problem because I'm still eating. But I don't like having to eat dog food. I'd rather eat people food. But this is how the whole thing is rigged. They're taxing us through inflation. Then they're lying to us about how bad it is. And the ultimate irony is all the years that the Fed was printing all this money, creating all this inflation, they were pointing to a rigged CPI that was less than 2%. And they said, we need it higher. We don't have enough inflation. And that was the justification for continuously creating more inflation, because they theoretically said we need to get up to 2%, when in reality, we were already way above 2%. But there's nothing magical about 2%. 1% is better than 2%. If you have 1%, you don't try to get up to 2%. You try to go down to 0 or -1. Lower prices are better than rising prices. Only an idiot economist or a central banker, or maybe some of these Wall Street people, could believe that rising prices are good, or that prices that go up by 2% every year constitute price stability. That's not stability. That's a continuous increase in price. Stable means the prices don't change.
Why is it a fallacy to believe
And it would be,
that if price...
It would be one thing if, we just had 1 or 2% inflation every year, right? But we're likely to never see that ever again. Right? And I've even heard discussions and talks recently about the fact that, no, they never lie. I've heard things recently that maybe they're going to just reset it and say, okay, now our new baseline is 4%. But even 4% is something that we're probably not going to get to anymore. So what I wanted to understand is I want to understand, essentially a timeline of all the times in the past that the BLS, the guys who essentially are buddies with the Fed, and understand how many times in history has something like this happened before? Have they removed coffee from the list of items on the list? Have they done something like, steak is too expensive now. People are now going to be choosing chicken, and chicken's cheaper, so let's include that instead of steak. And this has happened a lot in the past, and this is why in that video I just shared, saying that it's been a rigged system the entire time. Some of the more notable things that I learned when making this video was, especially here in the 80s, where essentially what they used to do was that they used to calculate the cost of they used to calculate the cost of owning a home, which included all the other things like gas, water, electricity, sewer, maintenance, gardening, repairs, all these kind of things. And what they did instead was they said, okay, well, that's getting too expensive, right? So let's not talk about the cost of owning a home. Let's talk about the cost of, so what they did is they said, okay, if you own a home, and you were to rent it to yourself, how much would you charge yourself per month? And then how much would you raise that rent every single month on yourself? And so they took that data and then said, okay, that's what we're going to now base it. So instead of the cost of owning a home, and since that's been skyrocketing, let's first see what it would cost, what you would raise rent on yourself, essentially. And then they adjusted that as the new data point for CPI. Versus the cost of renting a home, the thing with changing beef to chicken, removing things like coffee, reformulating things, right? And so what we have is we actually have, and of course this is all politically driven, just to kind of, as Wall Street Silver says here, why does the government do this? Political and budget reasons. High inflation is bad for Biden or whoever has been running for office in the past. Also, Social Security cost of living adjustments will be lower, reducing what government will pay to seniors. So now we have this site, right? This is it's all big Fugazi. Exactly big Fugazi. It's smoke and mirrors, just like a lot of things in this industry, unfortunately. But we do know Bitcoin sound, and I can promise you the things that we're building have sound economies as well. But this is called Shadowstats, right? And this is a website by this economist somewhere, wherever he is. No, that's Gary. I don't know if I included the video because I talked about it anyway. But so this guy created this, and he basically, what he's doing here is he's showing you if you would be calculating CPI and inflation based on the way that they used to calculate it, what the actual inflation would be today, right? And so this red line over here is what is being reported to us. And you can see, right now it's even though this data actually doesn't go all the way till current date. I don't have the premium subscription version of this, but you can see, and this is what I've been telling people historically, is that the actual inflation is about 2x higher than what is being reported. So if right now they say the inflation is at 4 or 5%, double that. And that's what it really is. And so imagine, and remember when we showed you this M2 money supply graph, how they'd actually been, it had been negative for a while, and now it ticked up into the positive money printing area. So we're going to see that accelerate a lot as far as the debasement. So if you thought the last 4 years were intense, let's see what the next 4 years have in store for us. And when you start to think about, okay, so if they say that the purchasing power of the dollar was decreased by 25% over the past 4 years, but the real number is more like 50%, well, that's just as bad essentially as keeping your round tripping Bitcoin, right? Going from bottom to peak and holding that all the way down to the bottom where you're 65, 70, 80% below all-time highs. Like, we're getting to a point where if you just hold Bitcoin, you're going to outperform the debasement of the US dollar. That could even happen this cycle. This is why I struggle so much with understanding, when we do inevitably see, this, the top indicator, these lines cross, and we think that it's time to sell and get out, what do? Right? Where do you take profits into Bitcoin, or do you take it into stable coins or something else? I mean, there is actually a project that I like a lot that has a stable coin that is, that adjusts according to CPI. So you don't lose, your purchasing power. Right? It's the 2019 dollar peg stablecoin plus CPI. And I'm not going to get into this video on how it works. I'm actually an investor in the project, and I'm quite disappointed in the way that they just don't care to market. Like, they have a really, really good product, but they just don't market it. So as you guys can see here, we're getting to the altcoin section here, and it's a mixed bag, right? And so it's doing all right. And this is compared to dollars, right? But when we go in, and if you go to Banter Bubbles and you change the currency to Bitcoin, things look less bullish compared to Bitcoin, because Bitcoin dominance has just been, really crushing, right? And so we had a good rally in Bitcoin today. And you can see most coins compared to Bitcoin aren't doing as well. So we still have Bitcoin leading the charge. And then that leads us into this discussion here. The first altcoin that we'll talk about is ETH. And I think that it's always historically been the best time. Yes, Ampleforth and the stablecoin Spot. Now, the reason I don't bring it up here is because I don't think that, I'm not encouraging anyone to go buy this, because one, it's complicated, and it would take an entire video for you to explain to you how Ampleforth works and how to make sure that you don't get wrecked trading it. But it's brilliant protocol, and Spot is the stable coin. Anyway, I've got some ideas around that. It's it's so good. And the whole entire thing, like, people say that it's impossible to build an algorithmic stable coin that's not backed by, real world assets or something. I've literally tried to poke holes in that thing for a long time. And I don't see how it could be done. But anyway, right now I think that people are sleeping on ETH. It's been quiet, and you can see Benjamin Cowan over here charting out the ETH and Bitcoin dominance, or the ETH and Bitcoin charts, and you can see, like, back here, last run, ETH compared to Bitcoin was just in the tank, and he's saying that here, where it's very similar here to where it was here, which means, yes, it could go a little bit lower potentially. But if you were an ETH compared to Bitcoin in this time, in altcoin season, it was amazing. It was exactly where you want to be. And we do know that ETH is, ETH is where the money will flow to next, the big money, institutional things. Like, we already have. Do you really think Solana will take over ETH? I do. I don't know. I don't know. I think that really comes. I don't think not this cycle. I don't think so. I think Solana. I think in order for people to to trust Solana on a big level, right? Like institutions and DeFi protocols. And like, you know, like I think that you should ask yourself this question. Like if you had, it took me a lot, like I use Aave, right? To essentially leverage my crypto so I can take a loan out, and I do this kind of looping mechanism like Michael Saylor does, right? I take my stake Bitcoin, I collateralize it in Aave, and I borrow stablecoin against that in a bull market. I buy more Bitcoin, wrap Bitcoin in ETH and Link, and I put it back in as collateral. I borrow against that, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Would I, and I've got a good chunk of my net worth in those smart contracts in DeFi, would I do the same thing on Solana with that much of my personal net worth? I don't think so, right? And it's only because, and it took me a long time of Aave to be running without major incident before I felt comfortable enough doing that. I think a lot of other, and if I've been in crypto for such a long time, and I think it's going to take a long time for other people to feel comfortable with that much as well. So I think that it just makes sense that major money will fly into Ethereum. And if Solana has an entire cycle where it's able to hold up and doesn't have any major exploits, you know, where there's major hacks because of the base layer, then I think that maybe next cycle Solana does, or maybe it's Sui does. You know, I think that smart contract race is still very much wide open. However, in the medium short term, it's definitely going to, I think it's definitely going to be Ethereum, right? So someone in the comment just said, like SEC could approve ETH when everyone least expects it. And that's kind of where I'm alluding to right now. Like, you essentially have all kinds of bullish metrics here for Ethereum. But the most important thing is that, like Vivek says here, we will see all spot ETH ETFs approved on May 23rd. You know, here are his reasons, right? So the backdrop, ETH sentiment is at cynical lows, and it is everyone just thinks ETH is dead or irrelevant, and this is the time when you want to be buying. If you think about from a fundamental perspective, like the second best token from institutional perspective is ETH, right? We already know that in Hong Kong it's approved, you know, and frankly, if you are an American regulator and you look at, you know, there's always competition with the East, right? And if you allow the East to buy up all the Ethereum before, like that's probably not a good thing to do. But I think more importantly are the factors that the factors that play here that Vivek talks about. So ETH ETF approval is priced between 0 and 25%. So it's very, very underpriced right now and not priced in. SEC is suing every legitimate institution in the ecosystem like Uniswap, Coinbase, and Consensus. 5 reasons why you'll see an approval anyway. So remember back when we were covering the path leading up to Bitcoin approval. It was, we covered it extensively, right? And what we saw happening right before the approval was a lot of amendments or changes to the filings. And we're starting to see that happening now. It's not being talked about very much. Yo, what's up, Trinidad? What's happening? So you see ARK and 21 shares who have changed their application to remove the ETH staking and yield aspect. You see Grayscale withdrawing their ETH futures ETF, which also happened right before the Bitcoin ETF was approved. The SEC has already approved ETH futures ETF, and that was what they went to court. The Grayscale went to court for, was saying that, and this is why the judge said that the SEC was acting arbitrary and capricious because they couldn't justify, the argument that that the futures markets had more price stability than spot. They said that the spot market followed the price on spot followed futures 99.99% of the time. Therefore, it wasn't a valid argument to argue that the spot market can be easily manipulated more than futures. This is the exact same argument that would be used if Gensler denies the ETH ETF, which at this point should know that he has no absolute case to try to do that. And if he goes to court again, it'll be a big embarrassment, another loss. And maybe he's willing to do that because it's just a killing time. But again, I think that the judge was very clear that the arguments that they tried to make for Bitcoin spot ETF will be exactly applied to ETH ETF. And let's not forget that BlackRock still has their application in, right? And BlackRock has basically won 99.99% of the time in their applications, right? There's one in the history that they didn't get approved, but like 600 of the rest were all approved. And you can see, so the question is, do we see ETH approval here on May 23rd, which is in 9 days, or do we see it happen, or do these get delayed? And then you have the iShares in August, right? And my guess is that there's no way. So my guess is that for sure by August it gets approved. I think if we see these ones get delayed, then the next date to go for is August, right? However, I think the SEC is already busy as it is, and if they do deny this, then I think that there's going to be, a lot of lawsuits and I don't know, like they just have no grounds to try to deny this any further. And as you can see here, guys, if you haven't seen this before, this is Gary, good old Gary. Doesn't he look like the guy from The Simpsons, the evil boss guy? But this is him in university, I think like Stanford or MIT, before he was chair of the SEC.
Palik wanted to raise money. He was maybe 19 years old. He looped in with a venture capitalist from Canada, Joe Lubin, who now runs Consensus. Lubin took about 10% or 9.5% of the offering. They put 9.5% in a foundation called the Ethereum Foundation, and the other 80% was sold to the public for $18 million. We'll talk later in the semester as to whether that was really a securities offering. I publicly said I think so, but that was in 2014, and in 2018, the Securities and Exchange Commission has said, regardless of what it might have been in 14, it's now sufficiently decentralized that we'll consider it not a security.
So there you have it. Like it's 2018, SEC already. We've talked about this before. Not a security, right? So Gary is on record here talking about the way that it had been ruled in the past, and now he's, and now they're coming after and saying that it is a security. I just can't imagine that if they do go to court, that it will last very long. So now that we get into a bit of altcoins, guys, here I'm gonna tell you just a bit of updates on the altcoin market here. Again, if we're in this chop consolidation zone, I don't think that you're going to see, unless you're playing the dirty degen altcoin meme market, like you're probably not going to see crazy gains anytime soon, but there are some outliers. Yeah, Mr. Burns in real life, that's right. There are some outliers, right? And so if you can see here, back when we started talking about TON, sometimes we talk about things very, very early. This happened to be one of them back here in October, November, when I was trading at $2, right? At 3x from here. And so yeah, guys, if this is why it pays to watch the channel. Like TON is just getting started, in my opinion. So we covered it around $2 the first time. It's $7.14 now. If you look at the past 3 months, it's been a rocket ship. And even back here, when Bitcoin has been pulling back and the markets are retracing, TON has just been up only with strength. And so not only that, guys, but this Pantera, if you don't know, was one of the most OG Bitcoin and crypto funds in the world. There was an email from Dan Moorhead, this guy over here, writing to his other homies at Pantera in like 2013 or something, saying, guys, we should look at Bitcoin. I'm myself buying 68,000 of them or whatever. And yeah, so the rest is history. They recently raised, I think, $1 billion. And TON is their largest investment ever. It comes directly from their website. And there's a reason for that, right? And as I say in here somewhere, a little bit of history. And so they begun rolling out a blockchain to their blockchain wallet to their 930 million users. And we know that they have the TON blockchain, originally created by Pavel Durov, the founder of Telegram, who's still not involved. Yeah, Star Crypto, like guys, in the Q&A, I'll ask you, Ondo, so extremely bullish on Ondo, and the real world asset narrative is just getting stronger. It is popping into the narrative more and more, and things that we're doing here at MV are also looking at in the RWA space. more on that to come. You guys know that did I tell you that I'm gonna about the Crypto Night show that we're filming, and it looks like now it's gonna be filming in July. That'll be fun. If you guys, let me know in the comments below. So Crypto Nights is like it's like a Shark Tank for crypto, right? And I'm one of the judges on there, and so let me know in the comments like if you guys think there should be any projects that come before the nights or the judges, and what kind of projects you'd like to see on the show. And also curious who you guys think would be other good nights alongside myself that would be good personalities for a show like that. One, they should obviously not be idiots, but also who would be good personalities to better than the Twin show. I don't have anything negative to say about Killer Whales, but what I did say about it, like why I was confused about Killer Whales as a show was because it was just influencers on the show, not VCs, and they didn't invest in the projects. They just said sink or swim, and I don't know. I think that if you're really evaluating projects, like you should let the public wants to know if you're gonna park your money where your mouth is, right? And like I think that's why Shark Tank is so entertaining, because like people like these VCs, these angel investors are literally writing checks on these projects and putting their reputation on the line. And that's what we'll be doing for Crypto Nights as well. So I think that'll be exciting. Anyway, more bullish catalyst for please not BitBoy. Please not BitBoy. Like, please not BitBoy. So Notcoin, if you guys aren't familiar with Notcoin was like this, it was like essentially this meme or something where like literally, I think you just sit there and like tap a button on the phone and you earn points. And like they got an insane amount of users, and now it's going on Binance. And TON is not yet listed in Binance. And so there's a lot of speculation here that Telegram will be listed on Binance soon. And as Jerry says over here, back at $7, rumors of listing on Binance. Have you positioned looking at FOMOing at $20? So Gary is an MC. Yeah. So for me, what I want to do, and we've already started doing this, is later in the week, I'm going to make a video on the Telegram ecosystem. And before then, I want you guys to give you the heads up that like that's what we'll be talking about. And so if you want to get a head start on that, come here and look from this post by Boy Ash, and kind of covers the entire tunnel ecosystem from the wallets, the exchanges, bridges, Explorer, DEXs, money markets, derivatives, stablecoins, so different products building on Telegram. Now, the thing that you have to be aware of is that like there's a lot of crypto apps integrating into Telegram that aren't on the TON blockchain. And so I think that like if you want, it's interesting, like the projects that are building directly on the TON blockchain are going to be a big narrative here. It's obviously in the making, right? Like this is going to be huge. And they're even talking about, Telegram's talking about converting stickers to NFTs and things like that, right? And making them collectibles. So this is obviously a catalyst for the TON ecosystem and its immediate projects building there. However, what I think is going to also happen is that we're going to get the Telegram, that's going to spill over into everything Telegram. So even people building apps in Telegram. If you guys were involved in the Commonwealth Free Fund, you know that Rabbit was one of the projects in that as well. Rabbit is building an entire casino application in Telegram that uses crypto. That's dope. So I think that there's going to be also spillover, just like when mainstream AI gets a narrative, Sora releases or ChatGPT, the crypto AI narrative explodes as well. We're going to see that happen with Telegram too. So let's talk quickly about the Telegram apps that we know are awesome, right? And one of them is 0xL, which I haven't talked about in a while, but I'm still holding all my tokens. I'm still bullish and excited, and I'm going on in a space with the dev. When is it? I don't know when it is. It's coming up soon. I think it's like Tuesday, Wednesday, something like that, Thursday. So I'm going on their Twitter space as well to hang out and talk. And then what I want to do as well, for fun, you guys should all come join me. You want me to do do the half the show like this? Yeah.
You want me to talk like this in the show? Okay, let's do that. So we're gonna go with it's too much. It's too much.
Too much. Okay, so I'm gonna so what I'm gonna do, another one is I'm gonna host my own Twitter space, X space. We're just gonna degen shitcoin trade on 100x leverage for like an hour and a half using COXL. Like if you guys don't know what it is, it's awesome. It's a Telegram bot where you can leverage trade the most degenerate meme coins on the planet, and you can do the stupidest, most degen things like 100x on the Trump with Bowden with no hat with a dog, Inu or something, whatever just comes out, and you can just completely super degen, $5 at 100x, whatever. And that is fun. That is like you are literally playing the short-term super dopamine casino hit kind of game. So stay tuned, guys, for announcements. Make sure you follow me on X at Kyle_Chasse. And hit the like, guys, please. And you want me to turn up the volume on my end? My ears are exploding. So this will be fun. This will be a lot of fun. But like, just come join the space. Let's just all jump on 0x leverage and just have a good time. Like, you can go on and you can go and it's cheap, right? Like I think there's like very little to no gas. You just put some assets on in your Telegram app, and then you just gamble, just like a pure degenerate junkie in Vancouver at the heroin. Okay. So, and of course, like this is big news for 0x leverage, right? The whole time we've been talking about it forever, for like 6 months or whatever, they've been in beta. It hasn't, you haven't been able to open up to public to where now this thing can actually start scaling. Now it's public beta. We can all go try it without having to have the NFTs, and a lot of the constraints have been removed. This is when things get good for 0xL. This is when things could actually start sending this thing. You guys know that guys like Arthur Hayes and others are like the most bullish on derivatives exchanges. We know that derivatives exchanges, like where does most of the money get made on exchanges? Since it's not spot trading, it's derivatives, right? And this thing is producing revenue and sharing revenue with token holders and stakers. And also, I believe buying tokens and burning. Like when you combine the degeneracy of meme coins and shit coins and crypto people with a good token economy with revenue share and an awesome product, like you literally get the best of everything when it comes down to like pumponomics, right? So as you guys know, like, and I think this thing is like retardedly cheap right now. I'm not sure what the price is, but I'm sure it's trading at like less than, I'm sure it's trading at like less than, it's probably, let's see, 0xL. Like that volume spike, 381% last 24 hours on volume, which is extremely good. But this thing's trading at dude, it's is that right? 5.8 million. It's basically free. It's not like it's like $5.8 million fully diluted. Like I said, it's like basically it's like free, right? Right now, like compared to what this thing could be, in my opinion. Not financial advice, right? But I'm definitely going to double down after this show. I haven't sold any of mine. Now, I saw a lot of you guys talking about Based AI and Pepe Coin. If you don't know, the bridge to pre-mainnet alpha or the Cayenne testnet is now open. So you will, if you are staking Pepe Coin, make sure that you need to go now unstake your Pepe Coin, claim your Based AI rewards, and then you need to restake them in the Pepe Coin bridge. I've staked all mine. You can see that the Pepe Coin website got a nice refresh here. They've got like a video about the history. And if you guys haven't seen this before, like they got all kinds of apps here too. You got My Friends, which is like MySpace. You got Instant Messenger that's encrypted, peer-to-peer wallets. So if you guys ever want to like talk to someone privately, wallet to wallet chat, that's fine. Just go use Pepe Chat. Pepe Messenger over here. And so then you go to base farm, guys, and you start using the bridge, right? And so you want to go to the farm V1 has ended, and you want to go to pre-bridge. And yes, I'm being transparent here. And you want to go, so you have to unstake them first, claim your base and your Pepe, and then come back here to the pre-bridge, select max, and then pre-bridge, approve it. And you guys are getting 2 times the rewards in base AI than you were getting before. Before, you would get 1 Pepe coin for every 1,000. 1 base AI token for every 1,000 that you staked. Now you're getting 1 for every 500 you stake. So the game theory is insane here. New here is this guy has pump dump scheme. I don't know. You guys could answer that in the community for him. One thing is for sure, one thing to note, Mr. Seabert Visuals, if I unstake any of my Pepe coin before mainnet, I lose all of my rewards, right? So that's the one thing that you guys have to be aware of, is if it's kind of, they upped the rewards 2x, so it's super sweet. But if you unstake any time before the mainnet goes live, then you lose all of your base AI rewards. So it's kind of like rewarding the people who are going to remain staked all the way until mainnet goes live. When mainnet goes live, you will get the native base AI tokens on base AI mainnet for your rewards you've been accumulating. Now, another thing to note too is that we believe that the brains, if you guys don't know, the brains are like BitTensor subnets. We believe that the brains sale, the mint, might happen before mainnet. And if it does, you will be able to buy those brains from your staked Pepe without losing your base AI rewards. So if you guys know, I can't wait to own many brains. And I think these things will be super valuable in the future. And guys, if you aren't using the Keck bot, you need to go check it out. Again, the Telegram narrative, it's a Telegram bot. And this thing is going to completely revolutionize the way that we trade, simplify everything so much. It's natural language to trade. So instead of having to go in and sign into an exchange and go find where the bridges are, and you have to go search and do all, you don't have to, you're not gonna have to do any of this, right? You're not gonna have to do any of this. With Keckbot, you literally just go into the bot and say, hey, take all my USDT from Polygon and put half of it on Arbitrum and the other half on Polygon, and then you need to go buy the top, go split that evenly amongst the top 3 meme coins on each of those chains now. And it will understand this natural language and propose the trade for you, and then you just say, yep, looks good, execute, and it just does it for you. Do you know how much time that would take you to do otherwise? It'd be fucking nightmare, right? And with Keckbot, this is literally the most insane thing I've ever seen when it comes down to simplifying the user experience for the crypto market. Grandma will be able to do this, right? Grandma will be able to say, how do I get out of this degen chain thing? I need to get all of my crypto out of degen and degen Pepe, and I need to put it in a more secure blockchain like Ethereum, and then Keckbot will just do it for you, right? This is insane. If you really think about it, it will save us so much time and effort, and you get rewarded for doing that. Go train the bot. This is actually one of the brains on the new testnet of Cayenne. It's called Rosetta. It's going to be a natural language AI model that just literally helps train the natural language model. So Keckbot launch, bro, it failed. I use it. You don't use it? I'm use it. Fine. So anyway, memes are not contracts, so they should all be listed. Are you talking about ZeroXL? Yeah, ZeroXL needs a whitelist for it. So guys, that's pretty much it. I'm going to talk about another really interesting AI project later in the week as well. I just want to get a bit more information on it. And is there any questions that you guys have before I tap out for the night? It's been an hour and 10 minutes right now. and I'm chilling. But yeah, guys, like, let's see. Do you have any questions? Anyone have any questions? We have, make sure that you guys are signed up for a paid network for we've got a private sale coming out for Umoja, which is like, you will literally be able to invest in the same project that Coinbase and the Y Combinator alumni are invested into, and all kinds of other gigabrain VCs. That's happening this week on paid, and then we have Commonwealth next week, which is going to be sick, and a lot of really big announcements coming up for that as well. Anyway, guys, it looks like there's no other questions. If there's no other questions, I'm going to tap out. Sometimes a little bit of delay here, but yes, Kyle believes in karma. I live in the land of karma. In Thailand. Thailand's amazing, by the way. Best people here. Oh, when will Pepe Coin be burnt? Can I talk? I think here's some. So Pepe Coin will be burnt. If you guys don't know, the best thing to do is just come to. So what you want to do is you want to go to, a couple resources here. You want to go here and learn how essentially how you get rewarded and how the brains are getting, the Kekbot is getting trained. And then if you go to based AI, and then you come over here to brain launch, you will learn why it's so insane. Like the supply shock for Pepe Coin is about to be unbelievable, right? Like, if you believe that based AI will be as big or bigger than BitTensor Tau, which in my humble opinion, it's going to be, there's just a million reasons why it's better. And it's not like some futuristic thing where we're like, where we're thinking that maybe one day they build this thing. Like, it's already like days away from public beta testnet. So right now, anyone can go spin up the testnet and try it out. Like, you guys can do it right now. But these brains are going to be super rare. And if all the brains, Rand spoke again about based AI, and somehow he didn't mention Pepe Coin stake. I love Rand, but he's busy. That's what I'll say about Rand. He's busy, and he's got a lot of projects he supports. And I think that, like, let me just say, Rand, it would be nice if you learn more about the projects that I love and that you're part of. Yeah. So basically, in order to get a brain on, which would be the same as like owning a BitTensor subnet, you're gonna have to burn Pepe Coin, right? And if all of these 1,024 brains get sold out, it effectively will put 80% of the supply of Pepe Coin burned and incinerated forever. Not to mention, if Kekbot gets popular, or when Kekbot gets popular, 50% of all the revenue it generates goes back to buying and burning Pepe Coin as well. So insane. It's so entertaining for me to watch all the kind of mechanics, gamification, game theory that the devs behind Pepe Coin and Base are doing. The thing about BitTensor was like, BitTensor, remember, it grew organically, and it was just like, once that snowball started, it just kind of kept going and going and going until it got to like a $15 billion valuation. I think that I think that based AI is going to do the same thing. Like, when you have this much innovation, right? It's a really big deal. You have EVM smart contracts. You have a layer 1 built on Substrate, so the same as BitTensor. Yes, it also seems that Elon supports based AI. In my opinion, there's a lot of powerful people behind it, and a big budget, and I'm thinking that I might go to the States in the next month or so, and hopefully go meet some of these guys if I go there. So the ticker symbol for based AI is based AI, all in one word. The exact same way Elon, capital B, ASED, capital A, capital I, all one word. Like, the exact thing that Elon tweeted before, just that one word, based AI. So like when the project got started, which is insane. Can I talk about BRC20? Are they worth it? And the BTC ecosystem runes, etc.? I don't know, to be honest. I haven't been following up on it. I don't hear a lot of excitement around it right now. You know, I have these rune stones, and I got these like minted things, and I haven't even checked on the value of them. I think that runes is interesting. I think that it's when the bull market comes, I think that market will pop. And for now, I'm just gonna when BRC20s and ordinals first launched, I bought some of them. I thought that there was a hype around the launch that died around for a while, and then remember several months after that launch, they just exploded, and Ordi and everything just went to the moon. And I didn't have exposure, so now I'm just gonna sit and wait and see if that ecosystem does explode again. I have no idea about Drake Cat, and yes, on Sunday, Anthony and I were in a Twitter Spaces where there was a gentleman in there, who we've been talking about that was ribbiting, talking about AI and this kind of stuff. So anyway, guys, I think that good nights for the show. Elio Trades, Superman, Becker, Crypto Gains, Rand. Yeah, good suggestions, some of them there. I'm not sure about, I'll keep my mouth shut. Look into Zentry. Guys, if you suggest that I look into something, make sure that you just give like a quick explanation why. If Bitcoin doubles, how much will ETF go up? Do you have any ideas? How much will ETF go up? I don't know. I don't even know what that means. ChainGPT, I like the guys from ChainGPT. Like, if you're listening, what's up? I don't know too much about the actual AI production behind it. I think that what they do is, and if they're watching, if anyone's watching, guys, let me know. But I think that they use the existing like LLM models to integrate into the tools that they built. I don't believe that they have their own models that they're training or like their own tech behind it, which is fine, right? Like not everyone needs to build their own models. It's a hell of a lot of money and work. Goldfinch, it's a good narrative. It's backed by A16Z. I got really excited when I saw the cap table and I saw it sitting at like a good valuation. However, there literally is not a good utility for the token. However, we all know it's, in bull markets, sometimes that doesn't matter. Oftentimes it doesn't matter. So when you look at like the backing, the narrative, RWAs, Goldfinch is good. If you come down to something like actual utility, it doesn't really exist in the Goldfinch token at the moment. Am I investing in DEXs at all? As you guys may or may not know, like I think that DEXs are a good investment when they're on a chain that is not EVM. If you have an EVM chain, that Uniswap is just going to come in and dominate, right? It takes them no effort at all to integrate that new chain. They'll have all the liquidity, they have all the money. So I'm not investing in DEXs that are on EVM. However, when you look at I suggested that people go maybe look at the DEX on Sui, right? Or look at the DEX that's on Aptos. Look at the DEX that's on, Near or whatever. Like these non-EVM chains that require that Uniswap cannot easily come into because it's not Solidity, it's not EVM. I think those are interesting to look at, right? And so that's where I would be looking if I was looking at DEXs. And so Telegram is something when we do a deeper dive later this week, we will talk about some of the DEXs on Telegram. And if you find one of them right now that's ahead of the pack, that might be a good play. I haven't gone there yet, but I think that might be a good play. Anyway, guys, I'm going to tap out. I'll catch you guys tomorrow. Hopefully it's earlier tomorrow. It should be earlier tomorrow. Catch me on Twitter Spaces, guys. I'll be there a lot this week and next week. And